You're listening to the Cantina Cast, your home for thought-provoking Star Wars talk. Join Albert and Chris in breaking down the latest news, trailers, movies, TV shows, games, books, and of course, your favorite characters from a galaxy far, far away.
Hello, Patreon members, and hello, Chris. How you doing, man?
Hey, I'm doing better than I was a few days ago, and I'm just happy to be back.
On the mend, yeah.
On the mend.
Thank you guys for joining us tonight. This is episode 656, and this is the Patreon exclusive where we're going to be talking about our final thoughts on season 1, but mostly our thoughts on maybe season 2, some predictions, things we'd like to see, and things maybe we don't want to see now that we know that we've got a season 2 and season 1's just wrapped up. So should be a great show. Should be a lot of fun to talk about that. Before we get started, Chris, how about saying thank you to some very special folks?
Yes, we want to thank our new Patreon members on the We Are All the Republic tier. We have Jason Moe and Jackery Schaefer. Thank you so much. And then a new member of our now part of the tribe tier, Krista Martinelli. Thank you so much for your support. The rest of our Patreon crew is on our now part of the tribe tier is the aforementioned Krista Martinelli, Will I Am, my girl Paisley. I got a Brad Feeling. Rita Reborn, Jacob H, Josh C, Uncle Leon, Sharkman Dan, Alejandro, Jackson, Daz, Risk, Danny P, Mike Borda, Dante, and Kat, aka Vader's Girl. Thank you so much. And then for our Delusions of Grandeur tier, we have Now This Is Rod Racing, Rob, Steve, and Vanessa. Thank you so much for your support of the Cantina Cast. Just to give you some programming notes on what we have coming up on the programming schedule, tomorrow we're finally going to break down that 25-minute preview that was aired on May 4th. Not aired, but was screened on May 4th at select theaters across the country. We're going to break down those 25 minutes. I was able to catch it while I was out in Minneapolis, and Albert was able to catch it back home in the Austin area. So we're going to go ahead and give you our thoughts on that tomorrow night, 9 p.m. On Sunday, May 16th, we're going to have From a Certain Point of View. And that's where we want to have some of our eligible Patreon members to come on and give us their top 3 moments from Maul Shadow Lord. The response for this has been overwhelmingly positive. And we would just like to hear from our Patreon members on what they felt the best moments of that series were. On Monday, May 17th, we're going to have The Mandalorian and Grogu, the final hype. It's going to be the Monday before this is released. Technically, it's supposed to be released on the 22nd, but it's coming out on the 21st. We all know that. So we're just going to talk about the final hype of this movie and what we're looking forward to for the movie when it comes out. Also, we're going to have a little contest during the screening of that special 25-minute preview. Albert was able to obtain some posters that were only given away at those screenings. So we're going to be giving away a show that has to do with Mandalorian. So that's going to start with the show on May 17th. Basically, what you have to do to win is you have to send us a question that you would like us to answer. You could email it to us at hellothere@cantinacast.com. Send us a direct message via Patreon or social media, and just send us a question of what would you like for us to answer during the show on May 17th. We will read all the questions and we will answer all the questions on air. And then randomly, we will pick one of the questions to win one of the posters. And we will actually mail those posters to you in a specialized poster tube so it doesn't get damaged. So please look for that. If you have any questions, again, you can email us at hellothere@cantinacast.com or send us a direct message on Patreon or on our social media platforms. Mine's up there is Big Chris at Big Chris at the Chris.atx. That's on Instagram, or if you want to reach out to me on TikTok, it's at the Chris ATX. And Albert has his handles up as well. So just reach out to us and with the question, and we will read it on the air and answer it for you. You have a chance to win that poster.
Yeah, and you can send them out to at CantinaCast as well if you want to hit the social media pages there. We check those, of course, every day. So Send your questions there. I think in total we have about 6 posters that we're going to be giving out as prizes. I have more. We'll just have to see how many episodes we do as far as the breakdowns once the movie comes out. So if you guys were around for The Acolyte and Skeleton Crew, this is exactly how we did those giveaways. So nothing's changed, but get us your questions. They're a lot of fun to answer, and looking forward to hearing what you guys have to say before and after the movie's premiered.
Definitely. And then one final programming note is on Sunday, the 24th, we'll be coming to you to give you our reaction and our breakdown of the movie The Mandalorian and Grogu. We've been waiting for this for a long time, and you'll get a chance to hear what we thought about it on May 24th. So please tune in for that. And that's all the programming news I have.
Yeah. So we got a lot of stuff coming. Obviously, there's a lot more still coming down the road. Like I said, we'll have a number of shows broken up, but then we get into the. All right. Well, I think that's. I mean, we probably said enough. I mean, we did the finale show. I think we've done almost 40 minutes here of kind of recapping, our thoughts and opinions on season 1. I mean, I'm excited for season 2. Cannot wait for it. Don't know when that's going to come out. They may surprise us and say it's coming out next year. That would be really cool. But that's amazing. That'd be wishful thinking maybe on my part. But man, 2027. If that's the case, we're going to be stacked in 2027 with stuff.
Yep.
Okay, so let's get into our season 2 predictions, and we can just take this kind of like rapid fire. I mean, we've talked about some of these things already, but I want to start with maybe just recapping on some of the things that we talked about during that the final breakdown of the 2 episodes. Let's start with Lawson. You and I called out the fact that Lawson did see Maul push Donkey with the Force into Vader and abandoned him, right? We had that one scene where Donkey's looking around going, where the crap is he? He was supposed to be here and he's gone. And ultimately that led to him, because I mean, together they were at least they were treading water at best, right? The minute it was just Donkey, he was done. As good as he was, it was not sustainable. Vader was just going to overcome him, especially since, Vader's probably putting in like 30% effort, if that, right? So, we'll see if, but I think we're both agreement that he lives. I think the question is whether or not he's the one that tells Devin, and how does he convey that to Devin? Because what we know is that he sees Donkey being abandoned. Does he know that Maul force pushed him, which I think is a different aspect of it all, right? Not only did he abandon him, but he actually pushed him and left him for dead. That to me seems more powerful. How do you think that would get conveyed to Devin? Is it Lawson having a conversation? Does it get passed on through Riley? Like, what are your thoughts there?
I have to look again. Now I'm going to have to go watch that part of the episode again, because I was under the impression that he did catch that Maul pushed him. So I'm going to go on the assumption that he saw the whole thing. I think how it's going to come is it's going to come from Riley. I think what's going to happen is he's going to try to reconnect with Riley behind the scenes, because obviously he's a wanted man. I'm sure the Empire and company are really going to want to capture him, because he's going to be accused, and rightfully so. It did happen, of a high level fugitive that the Emperor wants dead, allowing him to escape. So and they know all about him because they're in the police headquarters, so they could probably have all the information on him that they want. So he's on the run. I think he's going to try to communicate through Riley and say, "Hey, I saw this," and I think Riley is going to be the one that's going to try to convince Devin that said, "Hey, your guy here that you're following helped your master die." And I think when that happens, I think while Riley will want revenge, that is going to be the last step of her taking the full turn to the dark side. I think
saying Devin wants revenge.
Yeah, Devin will want revenge. And with that anger and hate and the need for revenge for what Maul did, I think Devin will take that final step into the dark side, attempting to get revenge against Maul. That's what I think is going to happen. I do think that they will work well as master and apprentice, but I do believe that we'll get that scene where Riley conveys to Devin that, hey, your master, your current master, did this to your old master. And then that will cause her to fall off the deep end and then ultimately have her turn. Now, will she stay at Maul's side even after all this? I don't know. But I think from that point, there's no going back. So that's how I feel about that. But yeah, I do think Brander Lawson is alive. We never see him die. We just see him disappear in the mist. So I think we're going to see him again.
Well, and yeah, I think we see him disappear. I think maybe the more telling hint that he will return and is not dead is the fact that he witnessed that. There's no reason for them to show us so explicitly, so candidly that he saw Donkey get pushed and betrayed by Maul if they weren't going to bring him back. Right? It serves no purpose whatsoever at that point. So it makes sense that he is alive. What I struggle with is, if I'm trying to tell a story and I want it to be impactful, Lawson going and telling Riley and Riley passing that on is effective. Granted, it's not. But I'll put the tinfoil hat on because I think maybe another direction that I'd like to see this go, maybe, I don't know, is having that happen, right? So Riley gets the information from Devin. If at some point they meet up again and, oh, Dad, you're still alive. This is wonderful. And, oh, you're with Rena now. And maybe Mom's there too. I don't know. We'll get to that in a second. But they all meet up and he tells Riley what happened. Or maybe they both do. Maybe they both confront Devin and they tell her. And she's like, I don't believe you. Right. That's not what happened, because she doesn't want to believe that that's the case, because, it changes everything. And she's already now at this point, maybe she's committed herself to Maul. And so they're trying to talk her out of this and convince her. And now they're basically giving up some of her purpose. Right. She's been refocused now, hardened to go fight Vader. And it's the person that she needs to kill is Maul. Like, I think that's a good setup. But what I would really like to see, since they've already brought Vader in, and maybe this is how season 2 kind of comes to an end, maybe there's a confrontation between all three of them. And we get a situation where Vader now confirms that, right? Hey,
yes.
They let him talk. And he says, you're on the wrong side. You're following this guy. He's not training you the way you need to. Or, we saw it in Master of Evil, right? So I want to go back to Master of Evil by Adam Christopher. Great book, great guy. Love him to death. Go read the book if you haven't. But in Master of Evil, there was a moment where Vader was kind of toying with the idea of taking on an apprentice. And mind you, this is shortly after Order 66. Not much time has passed after Order 66. So they've already kind of broken the seal that Vader was maybe not aggressively or actively looking to recruit an apprentice, but he had the idea, and he had an apprentice already with Ahsoka, right? So if nothing else, he could use that to manipulate her, right? More maybe on the sake of revenge against Maul, to really bring his whole house of cards down. But if he had that and said, look, what you don't know was that, your master was betrayed by Darth Maul, and he force pushed him or left him to dead or whatever else. And he says that now it's a confirmation, right? You've got two people telling the same story that have no connection whatsoever. That seems to be more dramatic and more powerful. And then it plays into this whole thing about, is Vader really trying to get an apprentice, or is he just playing manipulative games really at the behest of, Darth Maul, really or I guess against Darth Maul, or Maul, I should say. I would love to see all that kind of dynamic happen.
Yeah, that sounds really awesome. I'm with you there. I didn't have that on my bingo card, but I think that would be amazing if Darth Vader was the one that spelt the beans, said, yeah, he essentially served your master up to me on a platter, and I took advantage. There's this, I just want to go off track for a little bit, but there's this little rumor going around that we don't hear Darth Vader speak in Maul Shadow Lord, because he didn't want to use the AI voice that is now used for Darth Vader. It's the voice that they used on Obi-Wan Kenobi, which is the sounds are provided. The voice is provided by James Earl Jones, and James Earl Jones, like, it was one of the last things he did before he passed away, was he gave Lucasfilm the right to continue to use his voice in that form for Star Wars projects. So he could have used it, but the rumor is that Filoni didn't want to, because he didn't want to utilize any type of artificial intelligence in the production of his movie. So I don't know if that's true or not, and I've only heard it a handful of times. But if that's the case, maybe we don't ever hear Vader speak in this series. But I think that we should, because you can only be quiet for so long. We should, and if we do, I really, really think your theory about how this all should go down is probably the best way that should go down. So I'm with you there.
Okay. Oh, thank you. I don't know. I don't know that I subscribe to the AI thing. Disney has been pretty open about AI. They've not been shy about it. They've kind of doubled down on it in a lot of ways. There's been recently a lot of firings, and they're kind of cutting down their staff because of it. Mm-hmm. James Earl Jones did the right thing, at least he did right by the rights of his voice, yep, to pass it on, and thinking, hey, this is bigger than me. So I don't necessarily subscribe to that. And I think if it was truly the case, I think then, I mean, the fact that he didn't talk, like I said, plays perfectly into the monster, into the master of evil, to that serial killer type thing. You don't want him talking. He is Jason Voorhees. He is Michael Myers. They don't talk. They're just all about action and jump scaring you and suddenly showing up and knowing that you only have, limited time to live.
And literally just hack and slash.
Yeah. Yeah. And did he have a reason to talk to any of them? Right. No. Season 2, if we go down this path of, wacky theories, then yeah, I think he has a reason to do that, especially if he's trying to usurp him or, really just bring, again, his whole house of cards down. I think there's a reason for him to actually speak to Devin and manipulate her in that regard. And I think if it really was an AI thing, they would just get somebody to do the voice. I mean, they're not gonna, even if they have his voice and they decide they don't want to use it or he can't use it, that's not going to stop them from having Vader say something if they want him to actually say something. They'll just bring in an actor or synthesize it. Done it many, many times in different ways. So I think that's probably more the case than the AI thing. But I totally get where people are coming from too, because that would be the right thing to do. Maybe, I don't know. It's we've never had that debate because, again, James Earl Jones allowed it.
Yeah, so. That's the thing. It's not like they're just harvesting like a chat GPT and saying, say this line like Darth Vader and then throwing it in the movie. No, they actually have a module that does it with his voice samples, with his and his estate's okay. Yeah, so I think that's AI used ethically. It's the other stuff that I have an issue with.
Yeah, right. I think we all do.
Yeah.
So getting back to the season 2 prediction. So I think that would be maybe more dramatic, more powerful if we had that happen between Devin and Vader and Maul. You got Riley telling her that, at some point, Riley, let's think about him for a second. So he's just come along. Like, he didn't really have a choice in any of this. And now he's a stowaway or, a prisoner of Maul. And I don't know that Devin's going to be okay with that. Like in my head, she's got to be like, why do we have him? He does nothing for us, right? His dad's dead, right? At least they think he is at this point. Mm-hmm. His dad's dead. He has no connections or he has no purpose here. He needs to go away. Like, we need to drop him off and do all that stuff. And I started thinking about it. So why would they want to keep him? What was the point of him coming with them? Because they could have if that was the case, right? If there wasn't a connection, if there wasn't any more for Riley to do outside of Devin, if there wasn't anything more for Riley to do, they would have not had him come along at the end of season 1. So where I think a prediction could go with season 2 is that little Easter egg, that little tidbit of information they gave us back in like episode 3 or 2, where we learned that Riley's mother is part of the Empire. Mm-hmm. And so if I'm Maul and I'm trying to take down the Empire, one of the best things that I could do is have somebody on the inside, have somebody that can feed me information, give me intel, help me steal supplies, whatever the case is. And Riley's mom is probably that person. And now I have leverage. I've got your kid and you're going to do what I want you to do. You're going to give me this intel. And as long as you do, nothing bad will happen to Riley. Like that, if I was Maul, that's how I would leverage it. I don't think that's going to sit well with Devin because that's not what this is about. Right. In her mind, she's still got a Jedi mind. And by the way, I want to say this too. Like, I don't think Devin is 100%. She's not down the dark side. She had a dark side moment. She was kind of angry there. She says, I want to kill them. She wants revenge. Right. But I don't think she's truly gone down the path of the dark side. And so she's going to have this big conflict between light and dark. And that light side is going to be screaming at her saying, there's no reason to keep this kid around. And then once, if that does get pitched to him, to her, that we're going to use him as leverage because of the mom and she's on the Empire side, that's not going to sit well with her.
No.
Like that doesn't seem right at all. You know what I mean? Like that's.
Hey, everyone. You've been listening to a preview of this Patreon exclusive episode. If you'd like to hear the full episode, as well as a huge back catalog of other Patreon exclusive material, head on over to patreon.com/CantinaCast and sign up for the We Are All the Republic tier at just $2 a month. That'll get you all of the audio episodes, or if video is your thing, please consider the This Is the Way tier at just $5 a month. There's also 2 higher tiers in Now Part of the Tribe and Delusions of Grandeur, which gets you a shout out at the start of every show, your name in the credits at the end, and more. Thank you so much to all of our Patreon members and all of our supporters, and may the Force be with you always.
You're still listening? Wow, that's amazing. Well, I'm here to give you the disclaimer. Normally we do a big, long, drawn-out disclaimer thing saying what's what and who's what and all that other stuff, but I think you guys kind of know that Lucasfilm and Disney have no affiliation with us at all, and we have none with them. We talk about Star Wars, which is their property, and all that other good, fun stuff, but I think you can tell which is our stuff and which is their stuff. If you can't, well, then send a lawyer to send an email to me, and I'll be glad to chat with them. Other than that, you know what's what, so that's your disclaimer.